Alright, so this is a video of my 1990 Dodge Daytona Turbo ES. It is a 2.5 Turbo 1. For those of you that don't know turbo Dodges real well, that means it's a non-intercooled turbocharged engine. Didn't put out a ton of power, about 150 horsepower, but they did put out 180 foot-pounds of torque in 90. In 91 they had a little overboost deal. It'd give you like 210 foot-pounds of torque, so they real torquey. Real good for driving around town. It'll get out of the way of pretty much anything and accelerate from stoplights nice and all that good stuff. So you can see it's pretty darn clean. It's about as nice as they get for a 1990. I've got snowflake wheels on it, what they call them. Basically minivan wheels as I look at them. They're okay, I guess. I'm not real crazy about them. I'm actually looking for a set of pumpers to put on it, which are some 16-inch wheels that were quite a bit sharper. I bought the car, the engine was already overhauled, suspension was already gone through. The guy who owned it just didn't want to have to worry about anything, so he pretty much redid everything on the car. New timing belt, head gasket, again, engine redone, all that good stuff. It ran fine whenever he got it. He just didn't want to have to worry about anything. He's a fireman, and he works full-time too. And if he gets caught off the job, he's got to be able to get wherever he's going without thinking about it. So that's why he went through and did all kinds of work to it. The tailpipe on here, you can see that down there. I put the factory exhaust on it, factory muffler, because it had a hole in it. And I put that little tip on it too. So give it a little bit of a nicer look. As you can see, it's extremely clean inside and out. Got some stuff back there, but very clean. Still got the tonneau cover back there, or the cargo cover I should say, excuse me. Basically just got my riding gloves here. I don't think we can see those, but it covers up the rear package shelf. It doesn't retract anymore, so I haven't really been using it just because it doesn't do that, but I might try and fix it. If any of you out there know how to do it, that'd be cool. But you can see, extremely clean. The only flaw in the whole interior here is right here at the shifter. As you can see, it's missing that plastic cover there, so that slides back and forth. In order to replace that, you got to replace either the center console, or I know at least take it out. So I went to the junkyard the other day to see if they had any Daytonas in there, and of course they didn't. But other than that, no rips or cracks in the dash or doors or anything like that. Seats are clean and all there, not torn up. Dash is clean, all the gauges work good. So no complaints there. I'll go ahead and pop the hood for you guys real quick so you can see the engine. Paint's not perfect. Don't know if you can see it. There's a little oxidation right through here. Also a little bit on the roof and on the hatch. But all in all, it's pretty damn clean. Chrysler turbo motor. Zoom on that a little bit. I don't know if you can tell, but you can see that the head on there is new. Well, the guy had the head redone, had all the weak points welded. Heads are kind of known to crack a little bit. Nothing that causes any real damage. They crack in the combustion chamber, just little hairline deals. But he had the entire head reinforced whenever he redid it. He knew turbo Dodges pretty well, so he knew what he was doing. But he kept it all stock, which is what I like. I don't want to deal with anybody else's modifications and shit, because they may know everything that's going on, but the new owner won't. And if something breaks, you kind of don't know where to start sometimes. So it's all stock. Completely new air conditioning system. That's a new compressor. The receiver driver there is new. The condenser's been replaced in it, so it's got all kinds of new parts as far as the AC is concerned. It works great. Cools down real fast, all that good stuff. He redid all the vacuum lines and stuff. Now obviously some of these vacuum lines are not stock, but he did a pretty good job of making everything work correctly. It holds great vacuum, it idles smooth. Speaking of which, I'm going to go ahead and start it up cold. So as you can see, the it's bone cold. I just came out here to show you guys. So we'll go ahead and fire it up. There she is running.
Now $2 for $3. Prices and participation may vary. Limited time offer. Here you go.
You see, you have great oil pressure.
It's McDonald's new cafe.
Right off the bat.
3-minute share
All the warning lights work. There's your door jar light. The rear hatch door works too. The light, and everything to let you know that that's a little low. Rear defroster, heater, air conditioning, all that works great. Radio works good. All the speakers still work good. None of them are blown, which is pretty cool. All the power windows and everything works good. Power enthusiast seat, windows. Power locks. So, well, that works good. Won't lock the doors actually whenever you have the key in the ignition. Kind of a safety feature, I figured that out. That's the engine running from dead cold. You can see it runs nice and smooth, doesn't vibrate or shake or anything like that. Who says you have to have a Jap 4-cylinder for it to run smooth? These Chrysler 2.5s and 2.2s are pretty damn stout motors, especially as they got a little later on, towards the end of their run. Chrysler pretty much found all the problems that they did have and fixed them. The only real thing you have to look for on these things every now and again is a head gasket blowing. But honestly, other than the head gaskets blowing, the engines are pretty damn stout. Chrysler built this engine with a heavy sandcraft crank shaft from the 2.5, forged connecting rods, dish pistons, hardened valve seats, powdered intake valves and exhaust valves for lubrication and durability. So pretty stout little motor actually. As you can hear, runs pretty damn good. Not going to rev it up, so just started it up. I never get why people do that. They fire up their engine first thing cold, and all of a sudden they decide they got to rev the shit out of it to show you that it revs. It's kind of stupid. Also, the power, the headlight doors have new motors in them. You see, it pop right up, right down. Work great. Fog lights have also been replaced. They work good. I mean, the whole assembly, it's not just the lamps. Power wings and the lumbar support work fine on the seat. If you can hear that or see it, but I can. The wings work. See them tightening up, loosening back up again. So it all works good. Sit back here and listen to the exhaust. It's cold out here, by the way, so you see a little white smoke. That's not any indicator of anything being wrong. But it's about 31 degrees outside today, so it's a little cool. As you can see, the exhaust is nice and smooth. Doesn't misfire. Sounds nice and quiet, which is what I wanted. Don't want a loud exhaust. The racers can have their coffee cans. This is not a racer car. It's not like a, super high performance stoplight dragster, even though that's how the people who bought them typically treated them, which is why they usually blow up. It's because people just beat the hell out of them, and then they get 100,000 miles on them, all of a sudden the engines go to shit. Previous owner that bought this one bought it with 80,000 miles on it. You see there we got awesome oil pressure there and everything. The people who bought these things usually bought them, tore the hell out of them. This one here was purchased by the previous owner, who was the second owner, with 80,000 miles on it, and it's now got about 109,000 miles on it. So he redid the head and everything right at 100,000 miles. He just redid all of it. He didn't want to have to worry about anything. And typical gearhead, he redid the whole car, then kind of lost interest in it. He's got a 69 Yenko sitting in his garage and a 69 Chevy short bed that are his new projects, and he just didn't want to mess with these anymore. He wanted to own a turbo Dodge for a long time and picked this one up because it was so clean, and did some work on it, and then kind of said, have my fill of it, which is understandable. I'm kind of a similar type of guy. I bought this as a little project to finish up. The paint doesn't look too bad. It does clean up pretty well, but I am going to repaint the whole car after probably at the end of the summer before I store it. Or at least have it getting painted whenever the weather's nasty outside. But I am going to redo the car and respray that. It is a daily driver for me right now, though. I do have another vehicle, but you know, I'm not one to, even though this car is kind of, I wouldn't say considered a classic, but it's getting to that status to find them this clean. I also believe that these, you know, cars are meant to be driven, kind of a deal. So that's what I'm doing. I like to drive my cars. But as you can see, let's see if I can scroll out here a little bit. The steering wheel is extremely clean. No discoloration. The leather's not faded or ripped or torn. All the stitching is still in place. Again, it's all just, you know, doesn't seem like much, but it's just in a 1990 automobile, and especially in one of these older Daytonas that are typically abused pretty bad. This is an extremely clean example of this car. You just don't find them out there this nice. We're going to go ahead and take a real short drive, just so you guys have an idea of how well it does run out. I made a previous video that was real short, and I said in that one, I'm going to say in this one here, I do not endorse doing this. I wish I had a tripod, but I just don't. Take the emergency brake off. It's a nice day outside. It's cold, but it's nice. It's kind of weird. It's almost April, and we had snow last night here in southern Indiana. So it's weird because just not too long ago, maybe a week ago, it was in the 70s, and then the next day come out in the morning and it's 30 degrees outside, and it's just been cold ever since. So tell me how crazy that is. There's one of the asshole maintenance guys. Yes, I'm an apartment dweller. It sucks. It's only for now. This time next year we'll be in a house, just saving up money to buy one. I don't abuse my cars. I don't drive it hard. I mean, it's a pretty quick car and all that for what it is, and it picks up real well. But I mean, as you can see, we're accelerating pretty decent. I'm not using any gas really, and I'm not even pulling any boost either. So I'm just sitting at 0, and it's, you know, we're doing almost 50. Oh, got someone backing out here from their driveway. Idiot. So here we are cruising down the street. You can see it's a nice day. The leaves have not been able to get onto the trees yet because of the weird weather. It's kind of depressing really, but it's nice today. See, we're doing about 50 miles an hour. It's a 3-speed, so we're pulling a little over 2,000 RPM, and at a constant speed we're pulling 15 kilograms per inch of vacuum, which is, again, if you've driven turbo cars and know them very well, it's outstanding. Oil pressure is outstanding. When it warms completely up, the oil pressure gauge stays right in the normal range. It'll idle at a hot idle. It'll idle a little bit, about halfway between that first mark and the second one. And then when it's warmed up completely and you're cruising along about 60 miles an hour cruising speed, it'll sit right below the third hash mark there. So in between the very first, not the very first of the L, but the first in the normal range and the first mark down there. There we go. You can see that better. That very first mark in the normal range, and then the second mark, it'll idle between those two at a completely hot soak idle. And then cruising along, it'll sit there and hold right about where it's at now, maybe a little under it, when it's completely warmed up. So pretty damn good oil pressure. What you expect of a freshly gone through motor, but still, the guy knew what he was doing. It runs, as you can hear, it runs extremely smooth. As you can hear, it's actually, I'm going to shut up for a second, but it's quiet in here.